here we go. We're starting on the map Gorge, and we can see MarinelorD playing as the Malians in the color red. On the opposite side, we got LoueMT in the color blue playing as the Ayyubids.
Yeah, and Gorge is a map that's very, very interesting when it comes to just the way the play style leans into. It's very open in the central points, but your resources are spread out on the outside. So it tends to lean into kind of civilizations that can take a little bit of map control. But when we talk about all those extra resources, Mali's one that they really only need that extra gold mine to get that extra set of houses around, extra set of gold generation. But Ayyubids would love to go out and about, take the berries, take the deer, everything of the sort that they'll need.
Exactly, and taking a look at the scout pathing here from both players, they're all on the left-hand side of Louis right now. Both of the scouts, MarinelorD trying to go for some aggressive scouting here, and look at that, already being rewarded for it, finding 6 sheep, 7 sheep right now. Has to be happy, especially on a map like Gorge, where finding sheep sometimes can be a little bit tougher. Can definitely be a little bit tougher to find sheep here on this map, but Louis, he doesn't have to be too worried about the sheep situation. He is playing the Ayyubid, so he is getting that faster gather rate from the berries. So overall, like the sheep aren't really a deciding factor for his gameplay here in this game.
Right. The Ayyubids, they have that berry bonus, and then they get an even bigger berry bonus if they go up with the economy wing, although not expected to be seeing that in the early game here at least. MarinelorD, though, he's able to cut off Louis' scout again over on his side of the map, and we're gonna see if Louis is just forced to kind of tend towards MarinelorD's side and try to pick up any sheep. But as you were mentioning, this is definitely one that can lean towards a favorable play in the longer course of the game, though.
Now, in theory, this shouldn't be a bad way for Louis to path for sheep. Oh, okay, he finds them. Mainly because most of the sheep from Louis' side we saw were already taken by MarinelorD on the left side. And that should mean that most of the sheep for MarinelorD should be on his side of the map. So Louis actually going all the way over to MarinelorD's side now is going to be beneficial for him, and he should still find a couple more sheep there. And overall, it looks to be an even sheep game on both sides here.
Yep, absolutely. If he were another civilization such as the French, he would have been forced to go home, make that drop off. This would have been a lot scarier of a play early on. But we're about to see these feudal ages dropped. As I say, that Mansa Quarry starts to be built. 5 villagers on top of that. And then the age up is coming through for Louis as well. With the egg. Wow.
All right, so this might be either going to be an advancement Castle Age play, or maybe could be that Trade Bazaar Castle Age play from him. There's a lot of flexibility with the Ayyubids, I think even more so when you compare it to the normal Abbasids. And yeah, I think the bonuses are just very well thought out with the Ayyubids, for the most part, when it comes to their age up and their gold wing. So very cool right now. I'm just going to go up with those bonus villagers, going to be getting 3 extra of them. Something that I don't really like from Louis, something that I've seen other players do, is they space out their villagers on the berries a little bit more. So that way, they're not going to deplete any of the berry bushes. Means that as soon as they go up with the economic wing, they're going to be getting a lot more food out of the remaining berry bushes.
Yeah, I was definitely going to mention that, but you beat me to it. It's one that I play Ayyubids a good little bit, and it's an easy thing to do once you just see either the berry bush going low, or you just spread out your villagers as you mentioned. It allows, once the eco wing goes up, 50 extra food to go on top of those berries, and you just created food out of nothing.
You heard it here first, folks. DrDabston, filthy Ayyubid abuser, but surely, as all things, will get balanced in the near future.
It should be, and it's one that the casino is fun, and it's hard to pass up on when you're just getting to gamble a little bit.
All right, and here we go. Feudal Ages coming in for both players. MarinelorD immediately grabbing some of the eco upgrades. Louis also getting that wheelbarrow, and look at that. Only 2 villagers on stone, and the outpost there on gold tells me that this is just going to be a very, very greedy fast Castle Age coming out here now from Louis. Gets an outpost up, defends the gold, and just enough stone for an arrow slits emplacement on that one as well.
Yeah, and this is one of the ways that, like, everyone's talking about how the bazaar, the casino, the bazaar wings, the AOP one. Well, we're seeing Louis take a different book and a different page out of the book. He's going up with eco into fast castle. It is allowing MarinelorD to move out, get this extra pit mine that we talked about Molly wants and needs so desperately. But the timing is so sick that can end up coming in with the extra villagers that pop out. It just skyrockets your eco early on a little bit, and the technology once you hit castle, it's 40% cheaper, and it's 40% quicker as well. Is that what it is?
So there's a set discount on the resource. It's going to be 500 resources in Castle Age, and it advances you 40% quicker. There we go. Only costs 180 food and 450 gold. So Louis isn't too far off of that right now, and he's also grabbing eco upgrades behind that. Could be an early Camel Lancer play coming out from him. Something that I've seen the Spanish brothers do a lot is they open up with those Camel Lancers and then immediately also produce some archers to be able to snipe out any spearman that your opponent tries to make against that. Because the timing, it is so quick that you can realistically only make spearmen to react to it. And when the archers come out and you're kind of like a little bit on a... It might be a little bit of a checkmate situation, potentially.
Yeah, and speaking of the timing here, Louis is about to be able to click up, and MarinelorD is just now making the cattle ranches. It's just now about to start making those cows. We heard a couple pop out, and this is going to be one where he's not too far ahead. He doesn't have that boomed up Mali economy yet, and Louis might be able to find a really strong timing here, secure the relic, secure the map control, and everything that he wants.
He hasn't clicked up yet. Definitely has the resource to do so if he wanted to go for the advancement, but
Castle
maybe.
Age Bazaar? Is this what you wanted the whole time?
It could be. It could be happening. He's getting closer. He's getting closer. Has the resource for the advancement. Not going for it yet. 50 more food. Could this actually be the bazaar? And it is. It's gonna be the Trade Wing Bazaar coming in the Castle Age here, and Louis immediately switching way more villagers over to gold. This could be. I mean, I'm deliberately saying could, because we never know what's going to happen with the bazaar. MarinelorD scouting that there's a lot of villagers over in gold. He must be having somewhat of a hunch now as to what is going to happen. And yeah, there we go. Sees the age up coming in, and it is going to be that Trade Wing Bazaar coming in right now for the Ayyubids. And this is going to be such a dangerous landmark. Definitely going to have to check what he's going to be getting with that as soon as he ages up.
Yeah, the cool thing is, it's just the timing here. It just feels so strong. He's gotten some eco upgrades behind it. He's about to have all the level 1 upgrades. And the key, what tickets will he get once it finishes? Already has that double stable. So I think you were right. It's the Camel Lancer play to start out.
Yeah, okay, this is going to be very tough for MarinelorD to hold. He is starting to get that cow boom online, but the timing, it's not quite there yet for him. He's lacking a lot of the gold now to go for the age up. He probably has a ton of villagers on gold right now. Yeah, he has a good bunch of villagers on gold, still getting the passive income from the Mansa Quarry and the double pit mine. 700 gold per minute for him right now, but the timing, it's gonna get closer and closer, and he is making some units right now. No spearmen though.
Ooh, the sofa and javelin throwers is not the correct units that you were talking about. You said spearman is the necessity here. Blacksmith already being dropped down from Louis as well.
He hasn't scouted the stables. He doesn't know that there are double stables right now on the other side from Louis.
Oh, and this is the key here. This is going to be such a difficult thing to hold. He's going to have to drop the barracks. Every unit he's making delays MarinelorD's own Castle Age and allows this timing.
He got double villagers. Look at that. Suddenly, an extra 4 villagers coming, and he can go for it again. He can go for it again and get even more villagers out right now.
And did you see he also got the swordsman as well? So the swordsman, these units, very, very strong as far as just anything melee. Anything as infantry, they will kind of just, or in anything melee infantry, they'll Shrek, and those Sofa, they will as well. But they're heading over to the pit mine up in the north, and then he's going to be able to use the Camel Lancer's mobility to hit the gold and run all across. Just now finally getting scouted.
Yeah, so the Camel Lancers are being scouted now. I'm not sure if he saw the five swordsmen going across, and The interesting thing with the swordsman as well is if you look at the stats, they get automatically upgraded as soon as you reach the castle age. So I get an extra plus 28 health, plus 2 attack damage. And the attack damage is huge because they have a very fast attack speed. They attack very rapidly, and now the pit mine already at half health, probably from the scout. Oh, but at the same time, MarinelorD looking for raids here. Gonna find success.
Yeah, one villager starts to get hit a little bit. We will see one go down. I don't think there's going to be anything else after that, and Camel Lancer should be able to clear that up quite easily.
And Dervish also coming out, so Louis behind all of this also going to be looking to collect some of the relics on the map.
Collect the relics, heal up any of the Camel Lancers that get low health while he's raiding, while he's clearing up the sofa as well. And I mean, this is Louis' eco is through the roof from those villager buys, and the swordsmen are punishing MarinelorD quite heavily. Javelin's exactly what he needs to clean those up, though.
Yeah, the javelins do a good amount of damage here. The swordsmen, they don't have any armor. They do, however, have a large health pool, which allows them to survive there for a little bit longer. Cam Lancers trying to look for some hits there on the villagers in gold. Can't quite find them, though, as the Donzos are also coming out, and MarinelorD seems to be content right now with just making a lot of military in Feudal Age and prolonging that a little bit, but his economy looking very solid. It's not going to be too long until he's able to also go up to the Castle Age.
Wall's getting pretty close to finishing up, protecting this eastern side. There's some Lancers there to defend this, but just not doing their job effectively early on.
The villagers do go down. Still a solid eco lead behind all of this for Louis. There's probably been another trade that has come in the meantime for him. Rather, should be a... Oh, it's just about to come in. We can see the cooldown on the House of Wisdom as a buff there. 8 seconds, and then we can see what else he's going to be getting. Behind all of that, also getting the relics. He is going for the archers as well.
And he's already going to have enough immediately to have 2 of those trades right off the bat. Oh, speaking of trades, it's traders. 4 traders, but the skirmishers are very, very good against all of the army of MarinelorD. Those skirmishers, they have extra damage to infantry, so they're going to be doing extra damage to the Donzo as well as the jav throwers.
Yeah, at the same time, though, the javelin throwers are also going to be doing extra damage to the skirmishers as they're also a ranged unit. It's a little bit of a trade-off. It's like javelins versus javelins, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely, but it doesn't hurt to have that little bit of extra ranged line, extra bit of effectiveness, as Louis is transitioning to archers and crossbows as well.
Oscillation, in the meantime, has come in from MarinelorD, and this is going to be the timing now for the Malians, where they're so strong with all of that extra food income that he's getting now from the cattle, from the landmark, and yeah, now he's going to be able to pump out a lot of units very, very quickly.
And look at the relics that Louis took. It wasn't the ones on his side. It was the ones that were completely on the opposite side that MarinelorD was supposed to have for himself. And so Louis is about to have the 5 relic differential.
5 relics, 400 gold per minute. That completely nullifies the advantage that that MarinelorD gets with the Malians, with the pit mines, and yeah, that's going to be very solid. Looks like the skirmishers have also come out right now. And the army value for Louis is looking really good, and now a raid coming in the gold mine. MarinelorD not noticing in time. Lots of villagers going down.
Oh, this is exactly what Louis needs, those villagers. You don't have too many of them as Mali. They're so keen on those passive resources. And all of a sudden, we see 17 eco differential. MarinelorD's trying to move out to set up another pit mine, but this is where the map control on Gorge is so, so crucial.
And we look at the food income. MarinelorD still has a foot in this game. As the Malians, the food income is absolutely through the roof, and he's still going to be able to put up a very, very large army. And the Malian army, it's pretty scary. These Donzos have a lot of extra health. They get a bonus armor, and the Javelin throwers have very high base damage. Just the Camel Lancers from Louis, they're not going to be enough for him to win this game.
Nope, not at all. But Louis, he's not just having those Camel Lancers. He's having a good composition of a little bit of everything. MarinelorD, though, he wants to put the pressure on while he thinks he has a chance to do so. And moving across with that Donzo, with that Jav army.
Louis trying to find some villagers there in the pit mine, but it's only Donzos for him, and he gets repelled there for now. Large army, though, from MarinelorD, as you said, approaching Louis' base now. I don't think the army that Louis has right now is going to be enough. It's a big mixture of javelin throwers and Donzos, and the Donzos they hit pretty heavily. There aren't any golems right now from Louis.
None at all. Villagers immediately lose 2 on those berries, but Louis forces MarinelorD's army back for the time being. However, Camel Lancers still aren't here, so you can see the army numbers at the top. There's a good bit of Camel Lancers that are going for the circle because they have forced a decent bit of MarinelorD's units to defend the pit mine.
Yeah, behind now, all of this in the mid game. MarinelorD still pumping out a lot of units. Blacksmith upgrades coming in for both these players, and also the Mameluke's Blessing, I think it's called, coming in for Louis. This is gonna make it so that every time his units kill an enemy unit, they're gonna be getting a buff to their attack damage and movement speed, I believe it was.
Yep. You're exactly right there, and it's only the unit that kills the other unit. It's not all of the ones that participated, but that still being said, it does create a huge effect when we're talking about these giant skirmishes of 59, 67 army compositions.
It's definitely a very good bonus to have, especially when your opponent is retreating and you kill units on the retreat. It means that your units are just going to get faster and faster and able to catch up to your opponent. Looks like Marino's trying to go for attack on 2 flanks now. Has a little bit of a raiding force over to the left side. Main force attacks from the right. Donzo's now hitting at a crucial timing just before the wall is complete. Gets a couple of villagers here as a pickoff. That's going to have a clear path to the wood line. Louis is going to have to split up his units into 3 different armies. 1 to raid, 2 to defend on opposite sides, and just puts the archers. Good play from him as the main army now arrives, but the Mangonel already in position.
Mangonel and MarinelorD might not see this yet, might be focused elsewhere, needs to react to this Mangonel shot. He does, and starts the spread formation. Such a quick reaction there. Mangonel just not quite as effective now.
Both players massing up huge armies, but the army value is still in favor for Louis right now.
And he's still going to continue to get those casino tickets every couple minutes. So it really allows him to still boost up his eco behind this without having to drop a second TC, without having to, you know, go into these other ways to get eco. Camel Lancers, though, almost get surrounded and taken out. 2 of them to barely nothing. However, Dervishes could heal them up. Louis, though, spots it out. And just great army control here by Louis, still only losing the Cambulance, as some people like to call it.
The Cambulance indeed goes down. But yeah, I mean, you gotta look at the economy behind all of this, right? Like, Louis, he got 3 bonus villagers from his age up. The entire rest of the difference, or most of the rest of the difference, it's all just from the casino wing, from the bazaar wing, and now fight looks like it's about to break out, and look at the amount of Camel Lancers here, but the Donzos on the front line. You don't want to be diving onto that. A couple of the Camel Lancers going down immediately now.
Villagers not able to finish the wall over on the west side either. You can see a few more just get trickled and taken out. Mangonel on the back side, though, can prove to be such a big difference during these fights that are such big armies. We're about to see both of these armies breach into the triple digits here soon.
There hasn't been a single really big fight now, and both players are almost going to be pop cap. We're sitting at roughly 150 out of 200 pop for both of them right now. Do mind you, though, that behind all of that, sure, MarinelorD, he doesn't have the exact same eco count that Louis has, but all the cattle that he's getting and the passive pit mines, it means that he's probably around 20 eco units, a little bit higher than that right now, just in theoretic income that he's getting.
Yeah, eco's definitely a little bit more even than numbers will be showing, and that's why you can see it in the army compositions. It's 96 to 94. Army value still favoring Louis a little bit. Still able to circle around, get units every now and then, and I believe he has finished up his walls completely, while MarinelorD just now trying to get some down.
Yeah, MarinelorD has a large food deposit right now in the bank. I think it's probably at this point in time that you could also, even if there's camels on the field, could look to get some sofas out, just because you still need some mobility in order to raid, in order to get some value out on the map. Sofas would also be great just in order to try and attempt to snipe some of these siege units that are coming out from Louis behind all of that. Villager pull, camels taking a lot of damage here.
Louis moving up, trying to secure some of that mid-map, secure the sacred site. behind this and still denying some of those walls from MarinelorD.
It's kind of incredible that at this point in time, with all of the raids happening from both players, neither of them has lost more than 10 villagers so far in this game.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen some really good raids on both sides, and like you said, just hasn't proven to have that much damage. Mangonel firing on a single unit there in the center, but main armies clashing, and MarinelorD likes the idea of siege as well, got it from Louis, and has Springles as well as a Mangonel from himself, so this is a fight. Not going to be an easy one. Mangonel sniped out, and MarinelorD is on the offensive again.
Yeah, MarinelorD now pushing across the map. It's going to be a while until he reaches all the way across. All the blacksmith upgrades have finished up now for both of these players, so they really want to take the next fight. Springles now also coming in for Louis. He's fully walled though. MarinelorD isn't, so MarinelorD can't really push out all the way because that's just going to open him up to raids.
Yep, makes it very difficult to move out for this economy, and again, we can just continue to look at the Bazaar wing throughout this game. Ayyubid has started to make the full farm transition. We saw 2 full sets, about to be a third, maybe a fourth here coming soon.
Imperial Age. It looks like MarinelorD's looking for Imperial Age now. The resources certainly lean heavily into that, and there we go. Fort of the Huntress coming in, and he's got 18 Musafati warriors out already. That's going to be a very, very strong Fort of the Huntress. Once that comes in, the first strike comes in. And with that, MarinelorD's Musafati warriors are going to be doing a lot of additional damage this game.
Yep, and keep in mind for Louis, he's going to have to wait all that time for his Imperial Age to go through. Once he clicks up, he can't speed it along unless he clicked up with the culture wing, and it's still, again, 40% quicker.
Looks like he also got some wood tickets in. So that explains why he suddenly had the influx of wood for the Psalms. And it is indeed the culture wing with the advancement coming through. Saves up 1,500 resources during the age up.
Very, very cheap, very quick, so he will be able to match this timing and not really be falling behind. MarinelorD dropped a second TC behind this, so all of those villagers that he had lost now, the total of not even double digits, he's still going to be climbing up eco in another way.
Yeah, so definitely not looking too bad right now for MarinelorD. The question is going to be which of these civilizations going to have these stronger units now in the late game. MarinelorD going up with the fortress, Fortress of the Huntress. He's opened himself up a path to still have very, very strong units in the late game with those Musafati gunners and Musafati warriors when they get that first strike ability in.
Yep. Sacred site starting to be denied. MarinelorD moving up with his main force right on top of that same spot that I think he's burnt this wall down 3 times now. The question is, will he decide to push the advantage? Springles here to defend. No mangonels for Louis, and he just holds the wall positioning spot, forcing MarinelorD's army back.
Upgrades not quite through yet for MarinelorD. Guess he's probably waiting for those. The damage upgrade on his javelin throw is also coming in. And with that, they're going to be able to do a lot more damage to these heavily armored units like the Dons, not the Dons, like the Gulam and those Camel Lancers. Going to be getting a total of +4 damage, I think, with the Elite and the Blacksmith upgrades.
Some Lancers trying to do some raiding on the other side. MarinelorD defending it up pretty well. Outpost gets taken down, and the main clash, it's about to start going in. Siege is just holding both armies somewhat hostage, but Louis is able to snipe out the Mangonel.
And now the clash is happening. Both players' front sides colliding. Massive army, though, on the backside. Lots of archers, lots of crossbowmen, lots of javelin throwers fighting off against each other. Front lines are starting to thin out, and at the end of the day, it looks like Louis' backline is just too much for MarinelorD's javelins to take on right now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the end of the fight, the numbers tell the whole story. Louis still almost at that, well, if you include his siege, is at that triple-digit military, and MarinelorD is not massed back up yet. 130 total population. Louis just still sitting at max.
Look at that. It's the poison arrows upgraded now, but I'm looking at the income right now, and we can see that Louis, he's gotten all of the economy upgrades now. MarinelorD, I'm not sure if he's aware of this. He's got to be aware. But ever since I think there was a I'm not sure if it's the last season or like 3-4 patches ago. The cattle income actually does get affected by your eco upgrades from the mill. He's not gotten horticulture yet, and this is starting to hurt him quite a bit. He's getting the upgrade on the siege, though. So his siege is going to have a good bit of bonus HP and armor. Culverin's coming in as well. Might be a play from into the siege advantage. And now we're also getting the Musafadi Gunners out. Musafadi Gunners, with the Fort of the Huntress, they do a lot of additional damage on their first shot.
Yep. We saw, though, Vodka pointed out a couple different positions where Louis was dropping outposts. He's getting vision all throughout the map. He's taking this map control, and he's going to deny MarinelorD's gold in the long run, is what my guess is. He's getting vision of all these pit mines, every little bit of where those extra resources are going to be coming from, and he knows exactly where he's going to want to continue to pressure and raid.
The gold control battle definitely is going to be important here. So is going to be the battle for trade in the late game if MarinelorD wants to continue pumping out those very high cost Musafadi Gunners. And on this map, the trade, it's very difficult to control.
He realizes horticulture finally coming in.
That's going to help him a lot. He's already at 2,000 food per minute without it. That's going to skyrocket once that comes in.
Louis has no real siege to actually take down the Fort of the Hunters, actually take down those stone walls in the center. It's just the mangonels that are slowly doing their job the best they can, as they like to kill groups of units, not wall segments, but it's still doing what it can do.
Yeah, the mangonels and the sprinkles firing their shots against the wall. Looks like the outposts are starting to get taken down here. We are sending a couple of units up, probably some archers here to deal with that.
And the wall finally does get taken down here in the center. And looks like Louis is going to go for all 3 sacred sites. As MarinelorD's wall, he walled himself out of the sacred sites, not walled them in for himself. So is going to gather control of that, but farthest one on MarinelorD's side will be hard to control as far as like a win condition goes.
Looks like the university upgrades also have come in for Louis. Gets those incendiary shots on his archers. Gold situation right now, not looking the best for him. He does have a good food bank. But now the Musafadi Gunners have been stealthed by the Fortress of the Hunters, and that means I think it's going to be 2 shots from these. Yeah, you can see right now, 38 plus 38 damage. The first shot of these Musafadi Gunners absolutely destroys.
And trade is starting to be set up for Louis. He wants to get that long-term gold like you were just talking about. That is his weakness as well. We were talking about him focusing on MarinelorD's gold, but he needs to secure some up for himself.
And the stealthed units right now, Louis didn't know with how many units he was stealing there, as it looked like it was just a trickle, but it's very, very deceiving when the army is just completely stealthed up right now. Yep. All of a sudden they appear out of nowhere.
And the culverin on the side of MarinelorD, culverins, I guess I should say, will help him win that siege war quite easily, too.
Yeah, no culverins yet from Louis. Still trying to get a couple of raids in. Oh, this is going to be a good raid here with the archers. Going to be able to kill a whole bunch of villagers if that doesn't go...
Oh, unless it hits a university?
Oh, but no villagers. Now it's going to be villagers. And look at that, they're taking them down so quickly.
MarinelorD's, though, his eco's very, very strong with that second TC he dropped a while ago. Denying some of those stone walls.
Oh, siege out of position.
Siege very out of position, trying to move up that hill, just going to turn. Takes out the mangonel in time, though. First culverin gets taken out, but not before multiple springlets go down first.
Yeah, culverins now do get taken out as well. The main siege has been destroyed, so no mangonel shots now coming out from Louis. And these Musafadi Gunners, they're absolutely doing their job right now.
Yep, we can see Louis' military is the one finally falling quite quickly this time in the fight. Traders were moving across, but doesn't have this trade route secured for himself, so needs to move out to the east instead. Not an efficient one by any means.
Looks like the archers are getting taken down by a single Musafadi Gunners and some Donzos. So this raid is being dealt with. And now, look at that. The army from MarinelorD, it's going over to the last remaining gold mine from Louis.
Yeah, not just the gold mine. It's going to be the stone. It's going to be some wood villagers as well. So a bit of damage that can be done. Louis, though, he's got vision of it. He pulls back in time.
He's going to be hiding those villagers. But this is going to be rough now. Like, Ayyubids, in the late game, they've not seemed very, very strong so far in like the later stages of the game. They don't have that really strong sustained economy that the Abbasid have with their eco wing, with the agriculture upgrade and whatnot, with those really, really strong farms. They still have some really cool bonuses in the late game from the House of Wisdom. It just overall doesn't look as strong as the normal Abbasid in the late game.
Right. No, yeah. And I think you just hit the nail on the head. It's late game. It's a lot about the food eco because you need to just nonstop pumping these units out and out. And you can see he's only at 1,700 food per minute compared to MarinelorD at 2,900.
So both players having a lot of military out in the field. But at this point in time as well, like the casino wing, the bazaar wing, it's not really too useful as the gold is starting to be really, really dried up for him right now. He could be getting 15 Bedouin swordsmen out, but just doesn't have the gold for it.
Yep, and those gunners, we're about to see how much damage they're doing yet again. Archers, though, some of those skirmishers still arrive, still there, and just another clash going in while Louis is attempting to raid the backside. And traders just moving out throughout.
That's a large army, though. Large reinforcements coming out from MarinelorD, coming from both players, but it looks like MarinelorD's reinforcement just a little bit healthier, just a little bit more there in the numbers. The gunners also still in healthy numbers right now, 22 out on the field, and yeah, they're just taking these units out so damn quickly.
Yep. Traders still being able to make their routes, and somehow Louis, I feel like he shouldn't be able to hold this, but he is still holding this. Tons of more spearmen now, just being that front line, that trash unit to hold the gunners fire and let the jabs, let the crossbows, the archers try to clear them up, and still seeming to do its job somewhat fine.
Yes, able to hold for now. Economies, I mean, if you add up all the economy, MarinelorD still has a slight advantage. But if Louis can finally get the trade going, it's going to be looking up for him. If he can once again get the value out of that bazaar wing again. Spearman, just passing for now.
They were for distraction. They all just got their lives thrown away, but Louis, since these outposts are up, he does spot out the keep attempting to go up. He does spot out some villagers here, but not going to be there in time to deny this keep, I don't believe.
Right now, I mean, looking at the map, there's no more gold, or rather, not much more gold for either of these players. Look at that trade scaling now happening.
And look
All
at
traders out of each of
MarinelorD's
these.
gold. You talked about those gunners. He's not going to be able to pump the gunners anymore.
Yeah, the gold is just gone right now, but Louis, look at that, 2,000 gold per minute. He's got the trade set up. He's going to be the one player now that's going to be able to actively afford these high-value units, and he's switching into hand cannons as well.
Yep, MarinelorD did move over to that last gold. I think he has some... I think there's still a little bit over on the east side, but that's going to be it for him. Oh, villagers are there. Yeah, now they're starting it. They were thinking about it over.
It's also so good that Louis initially, like, he went really fast up with these stone walls on the left-hand side, securing that trade really, really early. Now also walling in the right-hand side. MarinelorD, though, the right-hand side is not fully walled in yet, and that's where he's going to be attacking from. If Louis is able to push him back once, he can get the wall up in, and then his trade is going to be fully secured. Until then, though, MarinelorD finds his window and tries to attack him now from the side.
Mangonel here to defend this a little bit. MarinelorD trying to set up his own trade, but we just saw Louis able to at least finish up the stone walls to make that trade a little bit harder to get to its route and finish up where it needs to get to. But MarinelorD knocking on that same gate yet again for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th time now and heading towards Louis' economy.
He tries to get rushed up. Louis sending his military in there as well. MarinelorD, though, he's smelling blood, and he's going for it right now. He's going for a throat. He's going for that trade economy. Louis still has a ton of gold, though, in the bank. This army there's a lot of high value units in there, a lot of Musafati gunners. If MarinelorD loses those, it's gonna be catastrophic for him.
Yeah, and he's stepping up quite far. He's past these walls now. The keep has finished. The mangonels on the backside firing on this army that you were talking about, but army is still remaining healthy. Still has a lot of reinforcing units going in. Musafati gunners headed over to the mangonel, and mangonel disappears, and so will the Springalds.
That's the difference. When you don't get that siege works upgrade in, your mangonels can get sniped very easily by those Musafati gunners. In general, by hand cannon units, and yeah, that was just very quickly taken down.
And now MarinelorD has made the composition swap onto those poison archers. The Tower of the Sultan.
I'm not sure what it's doing there right now. It's not going to be alive for much longer as the villagers are starting to burn it down, but it's looking pretty good. It's a cool unit to get out there, for sure. It's going on to that keep. Look at how much damage that one does with just a single attack, but I mean, it's gonna go down, and it's gonna be down in an explosion. Look at that.
Louis trying to cut off some reinforcing units, still on top of that fort, and MarinelorD has cut off the trade at its heart. Louis can transition it over to the other market, but might just send the traders through and hope that a few get through to continue the gold that he has. His food, though, his food's what's hurting. His food's dropped. It's still only like 1,700 per minute.
And he's got all the eco upgrades behind it, just doesn't have enough units on food right now. Probably only sitting at roughly 30 or 40 villagers gathering food. Maybe, yeah, I think it's going to be like 30 villagers that he's got on food right now. Else I can't explain just how he's sitting on only 1,700 food in the late game right now.
Villagers on the west getting wrecked by MarinelorD's raids, and there was a little bit ago that Louis was the one sitting at max pop, resources in the bank, and MarinelorD hurting, not there yet. And MarinelorD, he's the one sitting at max pop and in the economy of Louis.
Yeah, MarinelorD definitely recovered, and look at the army right now. 60 archers coming out here with poison arrows for MarinelorD. Musafati warriors also coming in. They do get that first strike ability, so their damage is going to be very, very high. And look at them. They're going to the bombard cannon. Look how quickly they can take the bombard cannon or the mangonel down when the first strike comes in. Doesn't look like it's coming in right now, though. First hit on the bombard. That one was really, really strong.
Mangonel gets finished up by those Musafati gunners that are still alive, and Louis' army is hurting. His economy is hurting, and it seemed devastating for MarinelorD a second ago, but now he's about to have wonder resources in the bank, I feel like.
Oh, and he's camping the trade with the archers. The traders aren't able to complete that final trip. They're not being able to pay off for themselves now. And Louis' gold economy, just like that, it's going to be plummeting.
He's got 33 military units out, only 6 more in queue. It's not like he has this massive queue. And look at MarinelorD's side. Every time a unit dies, there's 20 more in queue behind it.
Louis, he was at 40 active traders, now down to 15. Even more traders going down now. And yeah, Louis, he's just losing all of his economy, down to 78 eco units now. Behind that, MarinelorD sitting at 113, plus the theoretical 25 to like 30 from the pit mines and the cattle farms.
I mean, we're at a point now where MarinelorD's going to have more eco than Louis has overall population.
Yeah, now he's pushing in. Siege goes down as well now, for the most part at least. Mangonel gets taken down. Another Mangonel goes down. And it feels like with that, with the Mangonel also getting sniped as it comes out, the game probably not gonna last much longer here as Louis lost his main gold income now.
Main gold income, no resources really in the bank for Louis here. He's trying the best he can. He looked so good in this game number 1, but at 39 minutes, it looks like MarinelorD has finally taken a full hold of this game, and it should be, I would say, coming to a close here in the near future.
Yeah, MarinelorD just flooding across the map now. Louis doesn't have the production to immediately mess up an army that's strong enough to hold this. Doesn't have the income to do so either. And with that, MarinelorD is going to be able to finally push through. He also switched into elite warrior scouts. And now he's just trying to go for the landmark snipe. And GG gets called. MarinelorD takes the first game in the set. Looking very strong here with the Malians.
Yeah, wild game number 1. Can't believe he was able to hold on strong as that early castle timing from Louis looked so strong. It looked like he had the leg up for a while, but MarinelorD shows why he's talked about being one of the best.
Yeah, indeed, and man, that was that was an incredible set. Louis just putting on a very, very strong performance here, but MarinelorD with those Malians just look at that. We can see the villagers. It never really dipped a lot there. Just both of these players able to, like, whenever a raid came in, players saw it coming from a mile away, moving the villagers back into the base or just away from the resource that we're on. There were so little really successful raids happening there this game, and MarinelorD managed to get to that timing where the Malians are just superior in the late game.
Exactly. And boom, a huge, obviously an anonymous gifter enjoyed game number 1 of today. And game number 1 is living up to, I mean, the way the rest of this day is going to go should be the way of some excitement here. 20 gifted subs, and we appreciate all the support. Great way to support is obviously gifted subs, as well as I think our favorite is the new Patreon that I guess it's not really new anymore, but it's the best way to support the AoE4 scene, as there will be some events here incoming in 2024.
Exactly. There's a ton of new events planned for 2024. So many more events coming, many more tournaments from EGC TV. A lot of stuff to look forward to. And speaking of stuff to look forward to, we can already see what's going to be happening in our next game in the set. It's going to be the Basset coming out of MarinelorD versus the English from LoueMT, and it's going to be on Hidden Valley. And I'll tell you what, Hidden Valley, I think just before this game, Louis was actually held hostage on this map. He was held hostage just before the set happened. I think, yeah, it was against Magic. I think it was against Magic. Magic held Louis hostage on this map just before the tournament started. And I guess now, Louis, he probably knows this map a lot since he spent like the last hour before this tournament on it.
Yeah, and he was actually playing English against Magic on that game that he was being held hostage. So he's going to be comfortable. He's going to know what he's got planned. He might not do the exact same thing. He might have learned some tricks, learned some different things he wants to do here. But ABBA versus English is a classic matchup we have seen time and time again. I remember back when this was when the Men-at-Arms rush first became a thing, when they had their extra armor, and it was so hard for ABBA to kind of do anything when those first 1 or 2 Men-at-Arms came out.
Yeah, now granted, that game, I think he lost. I'm not sure if he just surrendered because he didn't have time to play with the tournament happening right there. But he definitely is going to have like a game plan for that. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what exactly he's going to have in store for us. Hidden Valley, it's a very interesting map. It can be a very punishing map if you don't find sheep early, because sheep spawns can be a little bit scuffed here. Luckily, both of these players have chosen civilizations that can deal with the situation in which they don't find a lot of sheep early on.
Yeah, obviously ABBA loving their berries, English having that very, very easy farm transition. And with Hidden Valley, it is one where I kind of, it's the later mid game, I feel like, where you really have that food struggle, because you have that initial deer in your base, which is very nice to be able to take, and gives you a lot of extra food in that early point.
All right, but it looks like we're just about to jump into a game number 2 in our first set of the day. We're going to be looking at Hidden Valley in just a second here.
Yeah, we'll check in on these spawns, and here we go. Game number 2, MarinelorD spawning in the southeastern side as the Ayyubid in the color red, and LoueMT as the English in the color blue in the northwest.
Indeed, and it's going to be on Hidden Valley, one of the new maps that we've seen in the Sulls Ascent DLC. And look at that, Louis opening up with the Dark Age barracks could be a potential Men-at-Arms rush now coming out for the English on this map specifically. It's going to be interesting since both players spawn relatively far away from each other on this one.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. I kind of talked about the old days with the extra armor when this used to be so devastating for Ayyubid, but now I feel like people have seen it time and time again. One thing is going to be hard for that Men-at-Arms to find the gold, considering it's going to be on the other side. So quite a bit of walking time that will end up being lost here, and obviously vision that MarinelorD will have from this, because men-at-arms will walk right through the town center mission.
And I'm looking at the exposed resources here for Louis, and we can see that, I mean, the berries, they're pretty close to TC range, so it's going to be tough to really find any value there. The gold and the stone, however, those are going to be the prime spots that Louis can hit with that early men-at-arms timing, and it looks like he's sending one men-at-arm around the left side and one men-at-arm around the right side, so he's going to try and hit both of these sides early on.
Yeah, and this is always the bait that I see a lot of people do when they're trying this out for the first time themselves. They make another men-at-arms, and it's like, no, 2 is the magic number. You can even stick with 1 and just split it off into different resources, and that is all you need to do is have your denial. Don't take damage, and just deny the gold, deny the stone, deny as much as you can without losing out on anything, because you don't want to overinvest and delay your feudal age too much.
Now it looks like Age Up is about to come in for MarinelorD, does have the gold, so no Feudal Age denial coming in with those men-at-arms, and the question's going to be which wing MarinelorD chooses to go up with. I think it could be a military wing here from him, and indeed he does go for the military wing. Is immediately going to have 4 units with which he'll be able to deter those men-at-arms, and should allow him to go for a nice and safe second TC as well.
Yep. So those men-at-arms, they'll deny the gold, so no fresh food stuffs, no extra stuff coming in immediately. But as you said, the 2 spears, the 2 archers, they'll push those men-at-arms back and away, and that's again why you don't make a third one, as you already did your damage. You've already forced the reaction you wanted. Military wing is probably that goal there, and Louis behind this should be dropping his Age Up here in the near future.
Ideally, you can follow this up as the English with a lot of feudal aggression. You want to keep those men-at-arms alive in that case, and once you get up to the next age, you're able to upgrade them, get the longbowmen out as well, and the longbowmen and men-at-arm composition from the English, it is super scary to deal with for most civilizations. And yeah, it's going to be very tough for the Abbasid, especially since they don't really have any army composition that can realistically deal long terms with feudal age men-at-arms and longbowmen. So usually what we see from the Abbasid is either just a huge mass of archers that is actually going to be able to deal with them, or a fast transition into Castle Age.
Yep. And the council hall dropped with 4 villagers on top of it. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull another 1 or 2 just to kind of get a somewhat equivalent Age Up timing, but instead behind it, he's chopping some stragglers, still onto the gold. And the men-at-arms burnt the can.
Yeah, the men-at-arms are looking to go around now, but that's going to be a bad timing for him, as just now the 3 units from MarinelorD get spawned, and yeah, he's going to have to run for his life with those men-at-arms. They're going to be taking a lot of damage on the retreat now.
Yes, they will be. Scouts, spears, those archers chasing them down. And look at this. MarinelorD immediately moves out to the stone, knows that he has secured this up, at least for the time being. And this is why I expected Louis to maybe put a few more onto the council hall, try to get some longbows out quicker and deter this back and maybe save up those men-at-arms.
Now, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, right? Because TCs, or at least secondary TCs, they've hit a pretty heavy nerf recently with the new expansion. So secondary TCs, they no longer have 8 tiles of range, they now have 6. What that means, or rather what that implies, is that the longbowmen from the English, with their 7 tiles of range, can effectively outrange those secondary TCs. Which means that even if MarinelorD drops that secondary TC, he's not going to be able to really buy himself any access to resource with that. He's going to have to position the TC in a way that the resource that he wants to gather from are going to be safe from both sides.
Yep. And you can see that men-at-arms almost getting cleared up, but double broadaxe immediately for Louis. Such an important resource for the English specifically. They're such a food-heavy civilization. They want wood-heavy civilization. They want their wood for the longbows. They want their wood for their farm transitions, for dropping production buildings, all these early things. And MarinelorD securing the middle wood line with the second TC.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Just because the longbowmen exist in this game, imagine longbowmen on both sides of the ridge here. That could be devastating for MarinelorD. I believe he thinks this is safer than it might actually be.
Yeah, the only thing though is splitting up your longbows to two different sides is very hard to do if MarinelorD goes into something such as, you know, a horseman or a mobile unit, or just splits the army and able to pressure both. But Louis, longbows already streaming across, has 5 out on the field as we speak, and some spears there to defend them as well.
Yeah, just very, very quick on the unit production here from Louis, and the army count, it's rising rapidly. He set up his economy in a way that he's able to immediately pump out as many units as he needs to, getting that double broadaxe as you mentioned, and now also grabbing survival techniques. So when he's going to be on that hunt, he's going to be getting a lot of resource from those deer.
And he is, you can already see MarinelorD had to reposition to the west side of the wood line, so TC protects up the villagers for the time being. But if a few longbows sprinkle to the other side, they will be able to fire off some villagers. But you already saw MarinelorD dropping a stable, so any longbows that move out, they're going to need spears and they're going to need to be grouped.
Now, this is where it's very nice for the English to start off with those Dark Age men arms, because now you already have the barracks to be able to pump out spearmen. 2 of them already out for Louis, which means that just a couple of horsemen are not going to be enough for Louis to be able to clean this up. Behind that, also making more men-at-arms, and that's when we get to that position and the point in time where the men-at-arms are just so tanky in the Feudal Age for the English. It's going to be very hard for a civilization like the Abbasid, which, I mean, the only unit realistically for the Abbasid that can efficiently trade against the men-at-arms is going to be the camel archers, and the camel archers just don't really live that long against longbows.
You can see Louis going ahead and taking down some of those deer. He has a longbow position. I think he's going to maybe wait until he takes in. Nope, he's just starting to hit another villager just a few times and doesn't want to step into TC range. However, that villager or that longbow should get cleared up.
Yeah, the horseman here. Mobile unit. Louis doesn't have any spearmen on that side. Tries to pull the army away from MarinelorD though, and that once again allows Louis to hit from the other side from the wood line. I think he's positioning to that now. Actually, is he falling back? It looks like he's falling back. He deleted his outpost. What is Louis doing? It is so disruptive to your tempo if you go try and like suddenly push all the way around from the other side with all of your military forces. It just takes so long to walk around. He also just walked a villager all the way to the other side. That's a lot of idle time. Now grabs wheelbarrow as well. But I'm not sure if that was necessary.
And all MarinelorD's going to do is reposition the villagers back to the right side where he just moved away from.
The one thing that MarinelorD can't easily reposition are his landmarks.
I know what it is. It's the food.
The food, the House of Wisdom, and we can see on the map that all the berries are to that left side of the map. Now, there's still a deer spot to the right side, 2 deer spots for MarinelorD, so it's not like he's going to be suffering dramatically if that fruit from the left-hand side gets denied, but the main thing that the push from the left side is going to allow Louis is a potential push onto those landmarks and onto the production buildings as well.
Yeah, and I guess that is the idea here. He is repositioning to the southern side. MarinelorD dropped an outpost on the berries, and those villagers will be split off. Louis, he's got enough of a force to just basically take out those berries as long as MarinelorD doesn't arrive with his overall army, which I think is back to the east.
The issue with all of this now is, though, that Louis has kind of delayed his push. Now MarinelorD already has 10 villagers out from that secondary TC. He's got the Golden Age, so 15% bonus efficiency on those villagers, all of those villagers. And he's starting to mess up his own army. The outpost from Louis going up is going to be crucial. He's going to need to take fights with the aura. Looks like MarinelorD already evacuated those villagers here on that outpost, on those forward berries. And behind all of that, MarinelorD, he's just pumping out a lot of units. Now I can still see a chance for Louis in this game, even though he's kind of missed the best point in time to go for a push, just because he's got access to those men-at-arms. And as time goes on in the Feudal Age, as long as MarinelorD isn't immediately thinking about a Castle Age, there's always going to be a point for English to push into the Abbasid base, and I don't think MarinelorD can really comfortably go for a Castle Age just because his House of Wisdom is kind of exposed now.
Yeah, I also love what Louis has done as far as the army composition. He's not massing up a ton of spears, even though there's a few horsemen. Your longbows now are going to be enough to start kind of peppering damage onto those horsemen, and the men-at-arms are going to be tanky enough. You have a few spears to deal with it. And Louis going ahead and starting to put some damage onto that House of Wisdom, burning it a little bit. And there's
Blacksmith upgrades also coming in for both players, and MarinelorD also grabbing that bootcamp upgrade makes his infantry a little bit more tanky.
Yeah, boot camp's such an important upgrade for the Abbassid to get. Second outpost going up, just kind of outpost crawling a little bit, and MarinelorD has been met with walls on the other side.
Yeah, so those horsemen aren't going to find a way into the base from Louis. He's completely walled off on that side, which means that the only real way into the base from Louis, it's going to be through the left side. And look at that, MarinelorD is actually going to be the first player now to make rams in this game.
Yeah, just wants to go ahead and send out a ram while he's taking this fight to take out the outposts that are being built. Get rid of that aura that allows the English army to become so much stronger.
This is going to be in time, though, because now Louis, he's got 13 men-at-arms out on the field. He's about to get the +1 ranged armor in as well. And with that, with 4 armor on these men-at-arms, it's going to be incredibly tough for MarinelorD to take any really worthwhile fights here. Now here we go. Villager, though, gets sniped out by the archers. Tower isn't going to finish now. There's still another outpost providing that attack speed aura. Spearmen from Louis have all been sniped out. There's still a lot of men-at-arms remaining, though. Longbows firing upon the horsemen. Men-at-arms trying to engage against the archers. Are finding some good connections there. Longbows just keep kiting for now. And with the massive longbows here, with the attack speed aura, they're actually able to take some really good trades against these horsemen as well. And now MarinelorD, he's looking to be in a little bit of trouble now.
Yeah, had to reposition off of the wood line as well. Production is front and forward for MarinelorD. So if Louis is able to take this spot, that means production falls behind this. It makes it so much harder to hold these pushes. And MarinelorD is in a little bit of a troubling situation. He has moved back onto those backside deer. So if this just continues to extend, his food situation goes down the drain.
Looking at the food income for Louis, I think he just about finished his tier. So I'm not sure where exactly he's getting resource from now, whether it's already a farm transition, but it looks like it might be a farm transition already coming in for Louis, which would explain why he's already got 18 men-at-arms out on the field now. If those numbers just keep scaling up, it's going to be incredibly difficult for civilization like the Abbassid to deal with those men-at-arms. MarinelorD moved out onto the second deer patch now. But this is going to be the last natural food source that he's got access to.
The House of Wisdom's already at half health.
That goes down really quickly with all of those torches, and yeah, MarinelorD has to do something about that. The question is going to be, though, does he have the units to do anything with it? For the archers, almost double the longbowman count, but those men-at-arms, they're such an effective meat shield here.
He's just waiting for the last possible timing. He's still continued to let this villager count climb. Louis has gone out over to the boar, and Louis, he saw the deer get killed. He's sending a few units get out there, and this is just going to be so effective during this. Finally builds a ram now, and this is such a crucial timing. MarinelorD has to hold this, has to defend this, but this is right as Louis sends a few units over to the deer as well.
Does have an outpost there, has units to defend, but this is going to be, yeah, I think that House of Wisdom actually goes down now. So it's only going to be one landmark remaining now for MarinelorD, and the Golden Age is going to end. He got to Golden Age too. That's a massive boost to your economy, and now it's over. And look at that, Louis is just running in. He's running onto the second TC. He wants to take it down. All those on the wood line are exposed now. MarinelorD has to run his entire military back to deal with that. Is he going to be able to deal with it, though? Does have the aura from the outpost as well.
I don't think you want to take the fight under 2 TCs. The longbows will start getting shredded. It's a lot of damage. If anything, just let your ram take out what it can and force the fight, force this extended point. I mentioned MarinelorD's food is going to be the struggle. He might have 30 extra vills, 25 extra vills, but his food per minute is disgustingly bad.
Yeah, and do not be mistaken. This push is going to come eventually. It is only a matter of time right now. And the crazy thing is, with those farms for Louis, with the English, even though MarinelorD is 26 villagers ahead right now, Louis' income is looking way better.
Yeah. He's starting to focus that production like I was talking about. It's so hard when you drop forward production, and that's what gets focused. Now your units, you're not going to be massing up as many units. 2 Rams. Main town center could start getting taken out, and MarinelorD doesn't have a big melee composition to burn down the Rams. He would have to pull villagers, and then that makes that villager lead less effective.
MarinelorD, he's up to 71 archers right now. So many units out on the field, but I'm still just not sure if it's gonna be worthwhile or if it's gonna be working against those men-at-arms. And yeah, the men-at-arms and longbows, it's such a scary composition right now.
Villagers falling back off that middle wood line. The Rangers are getting taken down. MarinelorD has dropped Rangers on the backside, obviously. And still continuing to drop more. 80 archers.
80 archers. It is an insane amount of units right now, and yeah, still, I must say that Louis, I think he's actually looking to go to Castle Age now before the big push.
If he does, those men-at-arms, all he has to do is get the armor chat upgrade, get ranged armor, and yeah, you might have 84 archers on the other side, but 84 archers are each going to do 1 damage.
Yeah, and it looks to be the Castle Age coming in now, and MarinelorD, he is never going to be able to go up to Castle Age as long as that House of Wisdom goes down. And I feel like as soon as that Castle Age comes in, it might just be GG. Only 100 food missing, 70 food missing. Louis clicking up to the next age any second now. And here we go.
And once he's up to the next age, this will also allow him to have the same amount of villager production. So now this aggression will mean so much more. Any villager picks means he's actually getting equalized. Villagers being pulled to heal the House of Wisdom. MarinelorD knows this is his timing. He senses the play.
Now the House of Wisdom doesn't take any wood to repair. But is it going to be enough? MarinelorD pushes out. He knows that something is going on. He probably suspects that Louis is going up to the next age. Almost 100 archers out right now from MarinelorD. King's Palace being rushed up with 20 villagers now. Is it going to be enough? Now the upgrade for the men-at-arms, it only takes 30 seconds to complete. It is a very, very fast upgrade from those early men-at-arms to the normal Castle Age men-at-arms. Upgrade has to be clicked immediately. Has the resources for it. There it goes. Upgrade immediately clicked. Veterancy on the archers as well. It's only going to take a little bit of time to come in. And as soon as that comes in,
the fight, he's leading his army back right to his board. Board villagers back on a way. He's halfway up to the upgrade. He's getting ready to turn, drawing MarinelorD's army out. Still not quite ready, not quite there yet, but is forced to turn a little bit early. It is time. Some of the men-at-arms getting taken down a little bit earlier than intended. Still 27 though.
And MarinelorD, how does he do it? He's almost up to the Castle Age as well. Almost has the resources for it. He's pushed Louis so far back now. And with this many archers, he can hold somewhat. Like he's two-shotting these men-at-arms, which only take a single damage per shot.
But now once you start kiting, it means the longbows get to start connecting, and it means the men-at-arms get to start connecting. So this archer count is about to go right down the drain. And MarinelorD, he still doesn't have a huge food economy secured for himself. I believe he's dropped some farms behind this because there's no way he could have gotten up to the Castle Age without it, I feel like.
Look at this culture wing coming in, but it's going to be another 1.5 minutes. And the question is, can MarinelorD hold this for 1.5 minutes now? The men-at-arms armor chat also coming in, veterancy on those longbowmen, and he has to fall back all the way to his base. Can he hold on?
And there's the farms like we were talking about. Now Louis can dive to TCs. He has the men-at-arms to do so. With these upgrades, the men-at-arms, they take nothing.
Not a lot of damage going out on them, indeed. And behind that, Louis, the reinforcement men-at-arms are going around the other side. MarinelorD tries to frantically wall that side. Are the men-at-arms going to be in time before that wall finishes?
It doesn't matter.
Immediately drops a ram.
He doesn't care. Drops a ram. He's taking the fight under the TCs. MarinelorD's, some of that food eco's idle, but not the majority of it. Longbow's still kiting, and look at MarinelorD doing such a good job of not focusing the men-at-arms. He splits off a group and was just nonstop taking out the longbows.
This is an absolute masterclass coming out right now from MarinelorD. I thought he was dead. Dead in the barrel, like a dead fish in the barrel right now. And Louis just had to take a shot, but Louis somehow does it. he finds or rather MarinelorD somehow does it. He finds a way to hold this for now, and the Culture Wing is coming in.
And once the Culture Wing's in, now crossbows start to get masked up, but he still has a huge food problem in the bank. It's still only 770 food. Even with some of that farm transition, it just isn't enough. He's dropping more farms behind it. But Louis, he's knocking on the doorstep up in the north with those Rams with the few men-at-arms over there.
Composite bows, veterancy, and the +2 damage upgrade coming in on these archers, but that's not going to be enough because Louis already has the armor clad and the +2 armor upgrade. So these men-at-arms, they're still only going to be taking a single damage point there with every single archer shot, even with the veterancy, even with the +2 damage.
And farms in the north, they just got denied.
Yeah, Louis is in. Louis is in with a couple of longbowmen, picks up villagers here. And he's also blocking the re-wall.
Walling the re-wall, just coming in, streaming units from both sides, and this is the key. Louis is going to have this better queue nonstop. MarinelorD, he has 2 archers in queue. MarinelorD's got 3 archers in queue. Louis got 6 men-at-arms and 3 longbows, just nonstop, continuing to stream across. MarinelorD cannot stabilize, at least yet.
Yeah, there's no crossbowman out yet, and we can see that sure, the attack speed is now much faster for these archers, but these men-at-arms still only take a single damage with every single shot.
Yep, Woodline starting to have men-at-arms in the Woodline, villagers running in, and now look at he's got plenty of wood. It's not the wood, it's the food that he needs. He has no food.
And where's he gonna get food from? Needs the farms, but all of his farms are being efficiently idled by Louis, and Louis just keeps streaming in more and more units. He's at 1,600 food per minute right now. That's gonna mean like 15 men-at-arms per minute running across the map.
Yeah, and MarinelorD just is getting to the point where his archer count, it hasn't climbed. He hasn't gotten crossbows out. He hasn't gotten this composition that he needs. He finally got the castle, but nothing to show for it as well.
I gotta say, I'm insanely impressed with MarinelorD so far in this game, just being able to put on such a good show here. But even then, like we talked about, it's not enough. It is not enough. And with that, Louis is gonna equalize the set right now, and damn, that just looked really, really impressive.
That was such a crazy game, and that's such an important game for Louis as well. Getting the game off of MarinelorD, that means, you know, if you think about these groups of 3, it's all about, you know, getting your top 2 in the group, and the opponent, Mista, is the other third in the group, took one off of MarinelorD, so has at least equalized that idea of it.
Indeed, and man, oh man, Louis, I mean, that was some insane pressure, but I'm still, I gotta say, so much respect for MarinelorD. Like, I think 99% of players would have just tapped out there as soon as the House of Wisdom goes down. Not MarinelorD, he just keeps pumping out archers, goes up to 100 archers. Can we take a look at the military count? We gotta take a look at that military count. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Like, the House of Wisdom goes down, he pushes Louis all the way back to his base, able to rebuild that landmark. It goes up to the next age. That was just incredible. That was absolutely incredible. But Louis, it just wasn't enough, and Louis is able to push it in. And man, that was an insane game. That was such an insane game.
Yeah, it's one of those that, like, looking at that timing from when Louis was going castle and MarinelorD reacted to it, if Louis had taken the fight in MarinelorD's base when he took it, Louis would have lost his whole army and then lost the game. Well, Louis knew to pull back, and MarinelorD pushed at that exact timing that he needed to push, and it caused him to allow MarinelorD enough time to get up to castle. It was one of those that both players doing the exact right things, and Louis just executed a little bit better there and tied up the series. But now we finally get to see another one of the new civilizations, and Japanese is that civ that we're going to get.
Japanese versus the Delhi Sultanate on Canal. That's going to be a very interesting one. Both these civilizations have some really, really unique, or rather some good bonuses on their fishing ships. Now, fellas, we are getting a couple of subs in here. And once again, thank you guys so much for the support. All of these tournaments, they wouldn't have been possible without the community support. EGC TV, your prime spot for Age of Empires for esports, and you can help support them. You can see our EGC TV community support goal here on that bottom right-hand side. Every little bit helps. Cheering, subbing, just you watching as well. It's all very much appreciated. You can also help out over on the Patreon to directly support EGC. And yeah, it's just a great time right now for Age of Empires 4. We got the new DLC. I think there was a graph, or rather a post made by Robitron, one of the developers on Age of Empires 4 World. 315,000 unique players in November for Age of Empires 4. Multiple 100,000 players in Age of Empires 4 right now. That is absolutely amazing. Just the greatest time right now in Age of Empires 4, and there is so much more coming in the next year.
Yeah, it's I think he said something about it where we're like breaking all the records from since like the release months, not the release month, but like the first couple months of the release month. After that, we've been hitting new peaks, hitting new highs, new game counts, all the sort. So very exciting stuff, and obviously the civs have a great reason to do for it. A lot of the updates have made the game a little bit cleaner and whatnot, and more fun. But now we have in store for us this next match is Canal, which is a map that I always love watching, love casting. It's a very interesting one every single time, I feel like.
It is indeed an interesting map, and we're about to jump into our third game. We've got a tie right now. Let's see who can get another point on the board as we jump into our game number 3. MarinelorD spawning in the color red as the Delhi Sultanate on the other side of the river. We got LoueMT in the color blue playing as the Japanese.
Yeah. And the key on Canal is obviously water is at the forefront of your mind. Whenever there's fish, if there's deep sea fish, it's definitely. If there's shoreline fish, it can be a little bit more of a different build early on, depending if you want to go military or directly onto the eco water. But both of these players going with the dock to start off, which expected from Japan, they have those cheaper fishing boats.
Yeah, both civilizations got some unique actions going on with their fishing ships. So the Delhi Sultanate, their fishing ships actually get an archer attack on them. Meanwhile, the Japanese fishing ships, they only cost 45 wood instead of 75 wood. So you save up 30 wood for every single fishing ship that you build, which means you don't need to put that many villagers on wood. That's going to translate into a very, very quick age up timing as well to the Feudal Age with the Japanese.
Yep, and then once you age up with the Japanese, you can get those shinobi is usually what you'll see on the water map. Allows you to blink out and in to these different locations, get the sabotage down, which, if you sabotage a dock, it not only, lights it on fire, it stops the production. So if there's fishing boats or military ships as yours moves across, it gives you this better timing, this better ability to control the water and fully control it.
Yeah, being able to lock out a production building for 30 seconds, it can be quite brutal in the early game, especially. Imagine you just want to get an attack ship out, but you just can't. It's stuck at like 1 second left to produce, but your dock is just going to be permanently disabled. And those situations are going to be very, very tough to deal with when you're playing against the Japanese. You're going to need villagers or rather military units on land in order to make sure that those shinobi can't get the stealthy or really, really sneaky disables him. But yeah, water is going to be incredibly important on this map because you can see that this canal extends all the way to the base of your opponent. Now, in the backside, there's not going to be any fish to gather. However, ships can still go there. And if you got a sprinkled ship there or an archer ship there, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, I think we saw it yesterday where Demu was on the Ottomans and he had I don't even know what it's called. The ship that can be a military school that was just parked over there that was just taking out all the reinforcing units of B and just proved to be so effective. So what's Louis do? He makes sure he doesn't want that to happen. He walls off the center of the canal, and you can see MarinelorD moving out with the villager. I believe he's planning on walling out his side as well.
I just had to think of the ski instructor from South Park. If you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're going to have a bad time. And indeed, that's what's going to happen if you're not able to contest that water in any way, shape, or form. And now we see Louis with the Japanese already got some villagers out on gold. So the age up, it's not going to be too much longer for him. Already got 12 villagers or 12 eco units out on food. And yeah, I mean, that's where we see the strength of the Japanese on these hybrid maps coming in. Just doesn't need that many villagers on wood. It's able to have a lot more villagers on food. And the H-up coming in probably the next 20 seconds, I would say.
Yep, just going to be a little bit quicker, as well as naturally getting a little bit of passive stone. And that's one of those things that as the game extends, as it goes longer, it might not be much early when you're looking and you're like, oh, you got 18 stone, not a big deal. But all of a sudden, if you have enough stone to give yourself a dock upgrade or upgrade an outpost in a good position, it really can prove to be very, very, cost effective and be a big differential in these fights.
Exactly. Now we do see the Coca Township coming in for Louis. Means that he will have access to the Shinobi. Very, very cool, unique unit for the Japanese. Unit that can actually shadow step, or rather teleport itself. Rather like a blink ability. And disable those production buildings that we talked about earlier. If it gets close to one, it has an ability to disable a production building for 30 seconds. It's going to hold every single unit that's trying to get produced from that building.
Oh. 19 sheep sitting under the town center MarinelorD, so if he does lose the water, he has got food for the long haul at least. There's still 11 on the other side, so nothing to worry about over there for Louis. Not like he didn't pick up some. It's just a good old abundance of sheep on this map.
Dome of the Faith coming in from MarinelorD, so he'll have access to some very cheap scholars as the game goes on, which you definitely do want to have on a map like Canal, because you get access to 4 sacred sites. So having a lot of cheap scholars means that you're going to be able to get a lot of the gold from those sacred sites. Look at that, Louis has a little bit of APM left over, and he's just trying to body block the scholar from MarinelorD right now.
Hey, it's those things where once you get to the highest elo, all these little things do add up. It's not like it's one big thing that someone's good at. It's all the little things that you can do, and seconds do really matter. Seconds do count.
Now another dock coming in for Louis. MarinelorD. Actually, the implication of that scholar being garrisoned inside of that dock is now going to produce 30% quicker. That's the unique upgrade that Delhi have access to. If they put a scholar inside of their docks, it's going to increase the production speed of that dock rapidly.
Yeah, and it's not like he gives up anything for it. It's not like taking that scholar out of the mosque will make it to where the research tech slowed down, because once it's inside the dock, it still continues off as it's in a mosque. It kind of has this like Wi-Fi network.
Oh, the Shinobi is moving across. It's coming. It's coming. It's disguised right now as a villager from MarinelorD, and there it is. It's coming. That. Do not be mistaken. That is not a villager. That's a Shinobi. And it's coming for that dock. But there's a lot of fishing ships there. Can the fishing ships with their archer attack deny that Shinobi? He does have the presence of mind, but the disable, it's coming out, the dock is blocked.
Oh, but the Shinobi gets taken down, and at least getting the pick on the Shinobi is so huge, because if it blinks back out, it should be able to get a sabotage in another time, which is so crucial.
Exactly. Oh my god, Louis is almost up to Castle Age. What?
How did this happen?
That was nearly instant, and look at that floating gate coming in 7 minutes. What? Incredible.
I'm confused. I blinked.
We literally blinked for a moment, and yeah, I mean, MarinelorD, he's got 3 Ghazi Raiders. What are you gonna do if Louis just suddenly starts going for Mounted Samurai?
And MarinelorD dropping a barracks as well. He's starting to, do the typical thing that you do once your Feudal Age finishes, is start to, get on some units. He spots out the outpost.
Louis
jumps inside. And yeah, he sees a lot of villagers on gold, and he's probably like, wow, that might be a fast castle. I think in a second he's going to be like, wow, that is a fast castle.
Ghazi Raiders are starting to attack the dock here, but there's already a second dock up, and yeah, we got look at that, stable, right next to the floating gate, so he's going to be able to put a Yorishiro in that immediately. That's going to mean that stable produces as fast as 3 stables, and he's already got enough resource for multiple Mounted Samurai.
Yeah, such a cool build order from Louis. You can see he prepped, you can see he practiced for this, and Castle Age finishes 8 minutes and some change.
He's going to put another one in the TC.
Oh.
Not putting it inside the TC. Where's he going to put that one? Inside a lumber camp? He's putting it inside a lumber camp. But why? You're getting 75 wood per minute, but this lumber camp is blocking some farm spots here. I guess long term this is gonna be nice for the bonus income, but as of right now, I'm shaking my head a little bit at this.
You know, maybe just prioritizing that wood a little bit earlier on. That being said, Louis, you talked about how fast those units are going to start coming out, and he's going to equalize his military count quite quickly. And it's not just equalizing the military count, it's the effectiveness of the units that Louis is moving out onto the field with.
Now it looks like MarinelorD is starting to capture one of the first sacred sites now. Already 4 mounted samurai out on the field for Louis, and you can see that army value-wise, they're pretty even. They're pretty even army value-wise, even though MarinelorD is in Feudal Age.
And you can just see how quick those mounted samurai take out those units. Like, quickly snipe down a Ghazi Raider. And once they move across the map and start utilizing their just strength into MarinelorD's side, it becomes so much more difficult. But MarinelorD, he wants to deny the water. He wants to deny a huge economic advantage that Louis has right now, which is all those fishing ships. So Louis needs to defend this up. He's got 1 war junk out. Ghazi Raider's able to surround that mounted samurai and get a good pickup too.
Yeah, Louis already has a second Springle ship coming out for him. MarinelorD, though, he does have a demo ship out. So Louis is going to have to be careful, especially in these very tight choke points on Canal.
Yeah, this is where taking out that second dock was super key for MarinelorD. It makes it a little bit more difficult for Louis to mass up a few different types of ships. But now we're having fights go on different sides, and that's where we'll see some advantageous fights going on. But look at the demos! 5, 6 fishing boats going down!
Okay, that definitely had to hurt. That definitely had to hurt. There's also a ton of spearmen out right now from MarinelorD. So all of these mounted samurai, they're not really going to be able to achieve much here against these spears. And yeah, Louis is going to have to think about a more infantry-based composition right now. The Uma Bannerman right now as well, trying to decap one of the sacred sites.
Mounted samurai numbers starting to get into the double digits though, and he's just moving out and about. If the Ghazi Raiders stray too far away from their spears, Louis can take the fight, but if the spears are there and helpful, then Louis is going to end up losing those mounted samurai quite quickly.
Yeah, and you can't lose these right now. It's all the military that Louis has. Also starting to collect the relics. Has 1 on its way already. Samurai's taking a little fight there. The issue is, though, if you don't kill one of these units, chances are that MarinelorD might just heal them back up again. Spearmen go for a little bit of a surround there. Lots of these mounted samurai are now weak.
Couple of the scholars, though, getting picked off as they're taking the sacred sites, though, as MarinelorD has 1 or 2 of the sites, easily pays for a few more of those scholars, as that's all he has to spend the gold on right now.
Cap is coming in as well. The Uma Bannerman is still alive. But yeah, look at that. One of the samurai on 1 health right now. Not gonna be that way for much longer, though, it feels like, as the Ghazi Raiders are chasing them down relentlessly.
And what's Louis going to do once the Ghazi Raiders and the spears reach his side of the map? They're just going to just go straight to the villagers onto the gold and force him right off the gold, start burning down the outposts, burn down the houses, everything right there.
Yeah, this is not a position that Louis can hold right now. He still has a good bunch of sheep there, but he's going to need gold. And we see he actually added in an archery range, and now he's adding in some of those archers, the Yumi Ashigaru, yeah, there it is. The Yumi Ashigaru archers are coming in now. Very, very cheap unit. Doesn't take long to produce. But they don't immediately do a ton of damage. You need the banner.
Oh, and it still connects. And the Springle chip goes down. This should be the water in full control now for MarinelorD.
Oh, this is so bad for Louis. These ships, they can now go all the way to the side from Louis. All the way to his economy. And he's burning down the dock as well. Demo ship comes out. But there's already an archer ship. Demo gets sniped immediately.
We were so hyped
behind us.
about,
He's close to age up.
Yeah, we were so hyped about Louis' build, but MarinelorD, he knew exactly how to react. It was keep up the pressure, keep up the aggression. And one thing I always question is, you know, you're making a unit that at least gets countered out by a Feudal Age unit here as Louis. So he's at least had that, you know, MarinelorD had that advantage, being able to pump spearmen and deny every single composition there. But as you said, springled ships moving up, archer ship moving up as well. And now it makes it that much harder for Louis to take this fight. Wololo immediately denied.
And there we go. With the springle ships now in the base of Louis. He's losing the entire map control inside of his base. This is the worst spot to be in right now on this map. There is just very little room for recovery to get back from this.
And I think he moved out to that northern gold.
Oh no, he did. Villagers on the run. And he only has mounted samurai to defend, but there's a ton of spearmen. And these villagers, they're all going down. All of them are going down.
And his army's going to go down with it. He just takes it. And this is one where MarinelorD is going to be taking this game number 3 and goes up 2-1 with the next one being his game decider for the playoff spot.
Indeed, match point now coming in. And if MarinelorD wins this, there is not going to be any way that he won't be able to make it to the playoffs. You only need 2 victories in this round robin right now. Round robin that we have 3 rounds of in order to really cement your spot in the playoffs.
Yep, and you could just see that Castle Age hit, but MarinelorD was able to end up denying the water, denying those fishing boats. Getting that first dock killed was so crucial because then it allowed him to full control the water from there, and then denied all the land military mass that Louis was trying to send out with those mounted samurais. And it was just one of those where that early Castle Age timing proved to not be as effective as we could have seen.
Yeah, especially on a map like Canal, like the water, it's just so important. Whoever controls the water in the end has a high probability of winning the game just because there is a straight path from the canal all the way to the base of your opponent. And suddenly being confronted with ships in your base, there is very little wiggle room for like escaping, being able to build up your economy and whatnot, getting units out, getting just any foothold on the other points of the map. It can be very, very suppressing there. And yeah, with that, game number 2 goes over to MarinelorD, as you mentioned, and we can take a look at our standings here right now. So far, MarinelorD, he's won 2 games. He's won 5 games, only lost 2 games. It is 1-2 right now for Louis. And yeah, overall here, taking a look at these individual groups, we got Beastie leading with 3.0 losses in group number C. In group number B, Lucifron, 3.0 losses. Group number D, we had a very close set yesterday between B and Demu, where Demu managed to come out on top with a 3-2 point advantage right now.
Yep. Very, very exciting series there yesterday between them. Whenever you're getting to a 5th game, you know the nerves are on the line. You know it is very, very scary for both of the players. And Demu was able to clutch it out, able to secure that. And it's just so crazy looking at these standings to me. I'm like sitting here, I'm like, wow, Group A is really strong. Wow, Group B is really strong. It's every single one of these groups is that strong. It's just such a scary position to be in if you're any of these players.
Exactly. Now we can already see our draft for game number 4. It's going to be Ottomans from MarinelorD against the Delhi Sultanate from Louis. And we're going to be on DrArabia. This is going to be an interesting one because these 2 civilizations, they tend to clash a lot in the Feudal Age with a lot of mass archers. Now, the Ottomans, they get the matter buff, so their archers attack faster. The Delhi Sultanate, they get the Tower of Victory, so their archers also attack faster. Both players have a unique horseman with the Spy and the Ghazi Raiders. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities as well for raids and stuff like that. And yeah, overall, it feels like a pretty balanced matchup when it comes to the Feudal Age. Question's going to be who can really take the lead here in DrArabia, because Ottomans will have to take map control somehow. Because if you relinquish map control over to Delhi, you risk those sacred sites going over to them, and then the scaling comes in with all of that free gold, and including that their upgrades don't cost any gold as well. The Delhi economy can be really strong when it comes to just pumping out units nonstop.
Yeah, and Delhi also loved that map control, taking all that pocket eco, getting all to the different berry resources and utilizing that extra gathering rate to get that food economy even better, to pump that military mass like you're talking about, control all the sacred sites. So it is one that I always love watching this matchup because it is very military focused, and there is a lot of action, well, at least a lot of units being pumped out at all times. And usually you'll see the Delhi player kind of get pushed and pulled all around, trying to control all 3 sacred sites, or at the very least 2 of them.
Exactly. Oh man, this is gonna be an interesting one, especially on Dry Arabia. One of the more default-ish kind of maps that we have in Age of Empires 2. It's only gonna be a couple more seconds until we go into our game number 4. In the meantime, fellas, don't forget, support EGC TV if you have the opportunity to do so. Subs, cheers, Patreon as well. Every little bit helps. Helps EGC TV bring you guys an entirely new season in 2024, full of Age of Empires 4 esports.
I know, and I know everyone is excited for the new tournaments that should be announced whenever they choose to announce them. We're all waiting for it. We're all excited for it. But ahead of us, we have this game number 4 between MarinelorD and Louis. And let's see these spawns.
Here we go, spawning in the color red as the Ottomans. We got MarinelorD here on Dry Arabia. On the opposite side, playing in the color blue as the Delhi Sultanate. We've got LoueMT, and we can see MarinelorD immediately moving out with 5 villagers onto that stone. Is going to go for that early military school. Louis, doing the typical Delhi build order, starts off with some chopping on the straggler tree, then goes to build that mill on his berries, and with that, he's going to be having some enough wood for all of it. Oh no. No.
Oh! Slash 106.
Nice sheep. Yeah, that hurts. Those sheep were definitely there for Louis, but didn't react in time, and MarinelorD says, yoink, those are going to be mine, and 2 sheep going over to MarinelorD. Now, the Ottomans, they are reliant a little bit more when it comes to the sheep than the Delhi, because even though the Ottomans, they do get some bonuses on their berries with their Feudal Age landmark that they usually tend to go for, the Delhi get pretty much a similar bonus on every single berry bush on the map. And more.
And more. That being said, the Ottoman ones at least never runs out. You just put 4 villagers on top of that, and you're just going to have food for the rest of the game with those 4 villagers, as I think that's the number to utilize, that it'll never end up running out.
Yeah, the Ottomans have discovered that infinite money glitch there when it comes to the never running out berries, and it's definitely nice. It's going to be a nice economy. It means that 4 of your villagers, or roughly 4 villagers, depending on the amount of food upgrades that you get, can be working 24/7 on those berry bushes, and it's going to be a nice sustained food economy there for the Ottomans. Now, the question's going to be how long the games tend to go where it actually starts to matter, and we're still in the early stages of the game, so I don't think it's going to be too bad if I shout out this Santiago coming in with the 25 gifted subs there. Thank you very much appreciate it.
Ooh, huge gifted subs coming into the chat. Scout's still circling around. We still don't have Feudal Age coming in yet by either of these players, although we do still expect, I would say, the berry landmark from the Ottomans. The question is it going to be the Dome, or is it going to be the Tower of Victory?
I feel like it has to be the Tower of Victory in this specific matchup. If you don't go for the Tower of Victory, you're never going to be able to take advantageous fights with your archers. And indeed, it is going to be the Tower of Victory now being dropped by Louis. Still no age up coming in for MarinelorD, but that will only be a matter of seconds now, as he's also getting to that point. Did delay himself a little bit longer here with that military school. But the military school is going to pay itself off as well with that passive unit production. Here we go. It's going to be the twin minaret madras coming out for MarinelorD as the Ottomans. So that is going to be that berry landmark that we all waited for.
Yep. Tower of Victory, it does equalize the attack speed, but that matter if you use the Vizier point on it, you still do at least have that movement speed buff advantage if you're the Ottomans. Allows you to take those more beneficial trades, just taking the choice when you want to take the fight.
And look at that, MarinelorD using his free spearmen in order to push the deer under the landmark. So the twin minaret madras also acting as a mill means that he can just gather from the deer, and that is just so smart right now. Pushing them all the way in. He doesn't really need to do anything else with the spearmen right now. Chances are, if he goes out onto the map, that there might not be really exposed resource that he can deny. So instead, just making use of that with them and just grabbing all of the deer here. Very, very nice use with those spearmen.
This is one of the, right when Louis spots it out, he should try to start sniping out these deer, not allow this very efficient gathering from MarinelorD. But we'll have to watch out for the spear. Yep, and there's exactly it. Starts to shoot the deer. At least a few of those will be quite far away. Question is will MarinelorD end up dropping a mill for him?
It's 700 food. Definitely nothing to brag. Oh, that's a couple of sheep. Oh, and MarinelorD even kills one of the sheep as well. Yeah, you can't go for that. You cannot go for that. Not against MarinelorD. He's just too on point with that. And yeah, it's going to be 5 of the deer that are going to be right under that. And that's going to be 5 times 350 food that's going to be gathered quite quickly. So MarinelorD can be very, very happy with that.
That's one of the plays that I haven't seen too many. I mean, we're used to seeing people pushing into the deer when it's like the chapel with the HRE and stuff like that, but not, or a secondary town center even, but haven't really seen that played with the twin minaret before.
Yeah, I might have to rethink the player card now for MarinelorD, only with the 5 out of 10 points for creativity, but on the opposite side, Louis reaching that Feudal Age and Asadeli queuing up all of these upgrades, and we can see all of them coming through right now. Also gets a blacksmith up as well. With that, it's going to be able to start researching those free blacksmith upgrades, and it looks like it's going to be Ghazi Raiders to start off here for Louis. Meanwhile, MarinelorD opting for Sipahi from this military school.
Yeah, and I know some people in the chat might be like, why is he going Ghazi Raiders even though MarinelorD already has spears? It's because these players are so good with mobility. The spears, they're a very immobile unit. You can see how MarinelorD, he's just parked him on his gold. He's parked him on the stone. Well, Louis can still move around with the Ghazi Raiders, try to take out any units trying to move out and about, allow him to take control of the sacred sites potentially as well.
Yeah, now looking at all of this, I mean, these spearmen, they're also still in the Dark Age. As long as there aren't any barracks coming out from MarinelorD, he's not going to be able to upgrade those to the Feudal Age. So that also, like, you never want to be giving up your tempo advantage or a tempo advantage in one of these matchups. The spearmen right now, they're mainly just a defensive force, but actually we do see the barracks coming out from MarinelorD now, so he will have the opportunity to upgrade these early on to the hardened spearmen.
Yeah, and surprised to not see the archers come out yet, but there's where we'll start to see them from Louis first, and it's not just okay. It's the 1-1-1, which is what we'll typically see from the Delhi. I feel like in general they like going with the 1-1-1, one of each production building, and they can always move a scholar inside of each one and make them count as a double. Yeah.
Oh. Ghazi Raiders can't quite follow up on that Sipahi. Now, as chat graciously corrected me, yeah, we did see that similar build coming in from a player yesterday as well, with the deer luring. So maybe, yeah, the 5 out of 10 for MarinelorD on the creativity part, we just stick it there. But MarinelorD, you definitely can't take it away from him that he's adapting his strategies.
Sipahi's starting to mass on up, and this is to the point where these players want to start moving out. You can see Sanctity has just now finished. So Louis, I say that it's a couple seconds. There we go. Just now finished. So Louis, he wants to start moving out with those scholars. He wants to at least start controlling one of the sacred sites, get that gold trickle into the bank.
Lots of units coming out now from all of these production buildings. Now, Louis, he does have the choice with the scholars to boost up some of these production buildings with that efficient production. Is able to get out a lot of units very, very quickly here. And let's not forget that all of these units from Louis, they're immediately going to be buffed up by that Tower of Victory, meaning that it's not just going to be his archers that have the bonus attack speed, but also the spearmen. Bonus attack speed on spearmen is quite strong because their default attack speed, it's relatively slow. So having bonus attack speed on them, percentage-wise, means they're going to be attacking much quicker here. And especially against Sipahi, where you need a lot of attacks really quickly to take them down, it's really, really strong here. Now the army is messing up for both players. Already 5 Sipahi out, 7 spearmen for MarinelorD, 8 archers, 6 Ghazi Raiders on the side of LoueMT. Here we go. Looks like MarinelorD tries to catch off some of the reinforcements here. Is not going to be able to get that archer.
Yeah, and that archer will be able to get healed back to full health due to the scholars. MarinelorD almost had this kind of perfect timing. He went out for a raid, but speaking of raid, Ghazi Raiders hitting the woodline and double surround, so able to pick up 2 of MarinelorD's villagers on the woodline. Very nice pickup. As I was going to say, though, Louis just ran out of the berries, almost was able to pick up the next bit of villagers as they moved out to the second berries, but instead turned back around.
Yeah, now the first sacred site is going to be captured by Louis, and very good pickoff indeed, as he said. MarinelorD now, he's going to have to start thinking about how he wants to approach this one. Still messing up more military, but I'm not seeing a huge mass of archers coming out from him right now. Instead, he's doubling down on the Sipahi play.
I will say the Sipahi, they're much more effective at cleaning up archers compared to regular horsemen, as they just have that extra little bit of range, able to not really have that pathing issue as much, and able to get a lot more attacks on in. MarinelorD saw how effective the raid was on his woodline, so he wants to do the same thing over to Louis. Louis, though, was just moving out to the other sacred site with some units, so instead of villagers, is able to pick up a couple units in return.
One spearman going down. Ghazi Raiders to take some damage. Managed to disengage, though. Could be healed up later on in time. But the villagers have to evacuate as well. MarinelorD doesn't choose to engage further.
Just too many production buildings right there. Second sacred site, though, being taken by Louis. So he's starting to get exactly what he needs. It's the sacred site control. It's this gold trickle into the bank. You can start massing up a ton more scholars, or you can just drop a market, trade off this gold, get Castle Age faster, or get more units out onto the field.
Now, army value, it's slightly in lead for MarinelorD, as it should be, as the Ottomans. You do get that free military production. He also went for the Imam point with the Vizier point, so already has some of these religious units out, being able to heal up all of these Sipahi. That's going to be very, very important here, especially in this matchup.
Still just the 1-1-1 production for Louis, moving out to the deer, but proactively dropping outposts. Players are so good at noticing when the deer start getting killed and being like, oh, there's an easy point for me to go raid. Well, dropping double outposts for 10 villagers, there's going to be more than enough room inside to jump in and house those villagers up for some return damage.
Sacred site now being decapped by MarinelorD. At the same time, Louis looking for some raids with his Ghazi Raiders. Got a good mass of them out right now. MarinelorD, he's got 15 spearmen. Oh, is it going to be in the woodline again? It might just be. And the raid comes in. Oh my god.
Another vill goes down. Another two
villagers.
I mean, that's still a good little raid. It makes MarinelorD pull back off that sacred site for a little bit of time, and the Ghazi Raiders can just regroup back with the main army again.
Indeed, and I mean, still, look at how close the military count is right now between these two players. They just keep massing and massing, and it's so even right now between them.
Yep. The question is the Ghazi Raiders, they circle back again. This time, though, villagers able to react a little bit better. Harder to get the surround on the woodline with that mining camp, so none get taken out.
Players just scaling the archer count right now. Looks like Louis has a scholar in every single one of his production buildings. He's going to be able to get a lot of these units out quickly. Now, as time goes on against the Delhi, they've gotten all of their upgrades in for free. They didn't have to pay a cent for them. Which means that overall, they've saved up a lot of resources that they can then reinvest into military. But it looks like an army clash is coming in soon here. The Ghazi Raiders aren't in position right now.
Able to close the gap, and as the spears close, the archers just continue to pepper that front side from Louis. And overall trade, I would say, somewhat even. A couple units went down on either side, nothing too crazy. But army, like I said before this match started, it's just nonstop military production. It's not always clashing. It's kind of this push-pull game where you want to deny the sacred site, take the other one, deny this one, go raid your economy. And it's all of a sudden, once your opponent slips up one too many times, starts running out of too many resources, that's when you go for the throat.
Indeed. Now, both players still continue massing up their military. Louis got a slight lead here when it comes to the overall military numbers. But MarinelorD, with the matter, he's not just boosting up his infantry, but also his Sipahi. But he's only got one out right now. Another villager goes down to a Ghazi Raider there. Louis just being relentless with these small little raids.
And I know, the viewers might not think like one or two villagers as much, but once you start climbing those numbers up, it really adds up throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, I mean, killing 4 villagers, it's pretty much 10% of the economy from MarinelorD being gone where it could have been right now.
Oh.
Sipahi coming in, but the outpost there saves the villagers. Sipahi trying to burn down the outpost. It's going down rapidly. And I think those 5 villagers might be trapped. Yeah, the army isn't there. It's not going to be in time. MarinelorD goes for the surround. He's going to be able to even out now the villager kill count here. 2 villagers go down immediately. 2 more really low. And with that, 4 villagers have lost their life now.
Yep, and so just like that, has evened it up, has denied food for a little bit of the time, and even though those 2 towers, it provided the vision that Louis needed. He reacted in time. He didn't have the mobile military close enough to be able to deny the Sipahi from burning the outpost in time to kill all the villagers.
Scholar just chilling inside the stealth forest. Tries to make a little bit of room there for the Sipahi. Tries to not get found out. The Scholar placement here is nice because he's right next to Relic. So as soon as the Age Up comes in, he's going to be able to immediately use that Scholar from nearby to grab it. Behind that, Louis now also recapturing the Sacred Site. At the same time, decap coming in. Look at the army now from both players. Like, for some reason, MarinelorD, yeah, he managed to overtake Louis' army now.
I mean, military schools have just been pumping, and Archer count is at 50. We saw him get to over 100 the other game. Might be a little harder to get to 100 when you got 50 other military units out and about, but he's definitely trying to this game as well.
Ghazi Raiders able to do a lot of damage onto the Sipahi. Looks like the Fortitude actually got activated, so definitely has to pull out there. During Fortitude, all of the Sipahi will take a lot more melee damage.
MarinelorD just waiting in the brush, and looks like Louis wants to press his advantage, starting to drop some rams. I'm not sure if he knows what kind of force MarinelorD has, but it is a quite scary one, and they're about to have this main clash, this main engagement. Once rams come into play, you're forcing the issue. You're making a fight happen.
Exactly. This makes so much sense for Louis. As the Delhi in the later stage of the Feudal Age, you've got the food income advantage with all of the berries out on the map, and what that means is that you can comfortably put out more military units onto the field. The military schools aren't going to be able to make up for everything, and now the clash is starting to happen here. But the MarinelorD attacks from 2 sides here. This is going to be difficult to hold for Louis.
Yeah, the archers haven't really been attacking. Spear's able to step up, be that front line, and the Ghazi Raiders are just running around in circles with nowhere to close the gap on, and the Sipahi getting so much damage in. The spearman count for Louis has basically disappeared. The Ghazi Raiders don't want to close either because there's still spears here for MarinelorD, and MarinelorD presses the issue at the perfect timing.
Yeah, look at the destruction value. And the army count now suddenly MarinelorD is doubling the military here from Louis, and that is just not possible for him to remass his army in time. And now MarinelorD, he's just going to press the issue. That attack from the 2 sides, just completely encompassing the army from Louis there, that might have just won MarinelorD the game.
I don't think it's a might have. Look at the military numbers. MarinelorD more than doubling and has a massive queue. 13 more archers in queue. Military schools are still working, and he's approaching the wood line of Louis, which means no more archers going to be able to be produced for Louis because he's about to be idle from this wood line. Villager's going to fall back. Villager's going to go down, and Louis is looking to be going down in this series. MarinelorD, very, very clean and methodical game here on the Ottomans, and it was just military.
It's done it again. Up to 73 archers, and with that, Louis taps out, and MarinelorD takes the series 3-1.
Just Louis didn't want to let him get to 100 archers again, and MarinelorD 3-1. This officially secures the first player in the playoff spot, as MarinelorD has had 2 victories in back-to-back days.